Hello guys, I'm DreamX Devil from the Quasar support, and today we start a new Fivem series with your Quasar scripts. So in this series I will explain you how to install the Quasar scripts so it will works, and we also check out the configs, what you can change, what you should be changed, so that you don't break the script. But in this part of the video we set up a new Fivem server for QB and for E6. So let's start. First, what we need the Windows artifact for Fivem that you get here. Then you click this, then you can just click here and download it. I have it already download. I normally use the last build, not the last recommend, the last build. When you have downloaded this, I have created two folders, once for QB and once for E6. Here we have an database that I explain shortly. What we have now to do is we have drag this complete files in this folder. I already created a second folder in the main folder, so it's for me my personal way how I do that, and it already works. So now to this database. You can use this exe, the fxserver.exe, or you can use this database. I will open it for you so you can look. Here we have the path to the folder and the profile, and this is important for when you use two servers on one root machine. I can show you here again. Here I don't have that. Here I always use the default profile, so you can zoom now the video and write it down. This part is where your fxserver.exe was, and this is the profile. So let's start with the E6 server. When you do it right, this should be open here. Then you get to the txadmin page. Here you can link your account. Here you can write your Discord ID when you want. Here is the password that is needed. Then you have to accept the license. Then you can register. Then here you can change, let's say QS tutorial E6. Here we click on the right PC. We want an E6 legacy server for this build. Then click on next. Then you go to the developer. Here is what will we download from GitHub, etc. Click on next. Here you have to put in your license key that you get here in the server portal from Civix. We copy this key. Here you can copy. When you don't have one, you can generate a key, but I have 3 keys, so I can't use another or create another one. So then it's dependence. on your settings, I use Heidi SQL, and I have created a password for this. For example, here we create this password that you have to set up in this part. If you don't have a password setting, you don't need this. Then we click on this one, and when everything is correct, you get this screen. Then the vice versus folder will open, and we click on next. Here we get this server CFG. When you use two servers, you have to change this part like this. Once you will get an error. Here you can change the local or the clients, the logo. This is our database settings. Here we have our license key, the name, and here you can describe your project. Then here the owner will automatically build in the admin group. Here you can say, here you can add new one. This is for the Pima voice. And here we start our resources. When everything is what you want, click on save and run, and the server will start up. So now the server is start up, and we can check here. We have our databases. I will make it a bit bigger so you can see. It's not much at this moment. This is the ESX part, how to set up a server. So now we go back in our QB folder and also do the same here. Also here we create a password. Except also here the license. This we change to QS tutorial to QB. Here we select QB. Make sure you select QB, not QB box. And before the questions comes, I also will explain this to ESX and QB, because I don't know much the other frameworks like WebAPI or QBox. And this is also for Red not or for Red Dead Redemption, not for Fivem. So also here we get this part. Now we go back into this in the server key register. This key we also use for the ESX server. When you don't use two servers at the same time, you can use this key. But in our case, we need another key. We can't use both or one key for both servers. So we place it here. Also put in here the password what we set in. Also click here on next. Now it will also download all files that we needed for this build. This takes a moment sometimes. But in this time we can go back in until we wait into our assets. Today we install one script with this tutorial, and it was the inventory, because we saw much issues with the inventory. I will use the basic inventory. Let's use the basic. You can download it on your CFX portal or Keymaster. Until December, Keymaster will go down. So after that, you can't use Keymaster anymore. You have to use the portal from CFX. So this is also ready in a few minutes, but we can start with the E6. Yeah, so I will explain everything on the E6 on the QB core. For the inventory, I use explain to both, because for QB core is a little bit different than E6. So what we do now, we have our resource folder. So for Quasar, you can create a new folder. Let's call it Quasar. And now we drag and drop all the stuff that we needed in this folder. We get here the inventory, we check. Yeah, we have here all DSCs and the SQL, the inventory and the shop. We just drag and drop this folder here. Then we just short jump back. Here we can also check everything, the basics that we also have in the server safety from E6, but here is a little bit different. Here's the other permissions at the bottom, not on the top like in E6. But also when you have set up everything here, you can click on save and run. Now the server start everything. Here you see the database is ready. And yeah, this warnings is because I use both server at the same time, and it's not the best root machine, it's just for support. So I end this tutorials. So you can ignore that. When you have that, you should check your scripts. Most of the time there's some performance with scripts or something like that. Okay, now we go back in this part. Now we have installed drag here our other stuff, and let's do it at the same time here. We also create here a new folder, name it also Quasar. And also put in here this folder. Okay, so now we go to the documentation page from the Quasar store and search for inventory. Now we want to install this script. So now we're checking what is dependency. In the advanced inventory, we also need another script, but I will create an. We can show it here. It's the same way like the normal inventory, but we need this for the pet menu in the advanced inventory. But the installation is the same, or that you need here one script more than at the basic inventory. So now we have checked that we have AUX MySQL. So we can check it in the resource folders. Normally is it on standalone. So at E6 we don't have exit or xlib, So we go at the last release, click on OXlib zip. It was downloaded. Now we check, make sure you check the folder. Some scripts have a double folder, so it goes here OXlib or OXlib main. Make sure that you have the resource in this folder. So we get back here, so and drag the OXlib in this folder, and also make sure you, when you have this in this folder, you name it OXlib. Otherwise, the inventory don't detect that. So the same, you can short this. We check in this part, but here we have OXMySQL, but no OXlib. So also we put here the OXlib in this folder. And then we can go back. So we don't have more dependencies. So this make we sure that we have the artifact and game build up to date. I know it was a newer update from the game build, but at this time the stable version is the 3.258. So then we go shortly in our server CFG and check. Here we have this part, this is correctly, and here we have the older one we create, so save that. So now we go back in the documentation. So then for the inventory, it's very important that we have the right starting order. So we go just back here. It's the same for both. It's just called different because E6 was the E6 extended, and for QB core was QB core. So we type here ensure ES extended, and after that ensure ES inventory. It was also the same name for the advanced inventory. Quasar did that, so the exports and other scripts don't need a change, so we can just put it in. And here we ensure the folder that we created, the Quasar folder, and click on save. The same we do with the QB. But QB core was already ensured the QB core before. And here at the bottom, we ensure the Quasar folder. And save that. So we just go back in what we have missing. Now we install the database. So we have both. We need this part for the ESX server. So this was the ESX part. So we just copy and paste everything here and click on run. So I have just make sure that is this correct folder. Nope. We have to here put it here. Here we have the database for the QB core. You see it's also very empty. So we have installed the database for ESX. Now it's part for the QB core. It's a little bit different than the ESX. Make sure you have the right database copied for your framework. Also we create here. And now we have here our tables for both frameworks. So then we go back into the documentation. Now we have to change as a framework. If Here on ESX, you click on the ESX part. If you want a different version, or you can also click where was it? Oh, it was removed. Okay. Just click here and click on ESX extended. Download this part. And when you was on QB or QBbox, I don't explain QBbox because I don't know much of this framework. You click on the other frameworks. So we just click here. Also download this file. Now what we do now? So we go in our resources on the core for ESX. We copy this out. And we put it here for a backup. Then we open the ESX extended. Here's a double folder, what I explained earlier in this video. And make sure this is correctly. Yes, it's correctly. This is very important that you use the ESX or QB core from the docs, otherwise the inventory don't work correctly. If you have the no lag, you can change everything what you want by yourself. When you want, can click on this command and check all files that you have here and make the changes by yourself. But we don't recommend that. It's better to download the framework from the docs or from the GitHub, not from the docs. So the same we do in the QB core. We copy out the QB core folder, put it in here as backup. So go back here, then we use this part. Okay, now we have renamed the folder. Drag and drop, and now make sure you rename the folder because otherwise the script don't start correctly in the right order. So now we have the QB core and the ESX framework switched. If you use QB core, you have to check this out, and it was the best you completely copy this code. And now we go in the QB core, share it, items lure. So here, if you use QB core, the most you can know this format of the items, but sometimes this could be happened that it don't work correctly. That is the best way you change it. And now we have copied that from the docs and make sure that you have the format like this. If you want it in the long version like this, but you can just change it and go back here to this one if you want it. So now we save that, and if you use QB core, you have to put all your new items or existing items in this lure. If you use ESX, you have to put it in the inventory, share it, items lure. Here you also have everything, and like what we copy from the docs. You have to put all your new items in this part of the items lure. So now we're going back. Here we can check everything that we have. And now we have here some new guides for if you want money as item, for example. It's mostly only for QB Core. You go in your resource folder, in the inventory, in the server, custom, framework, QB Core or QB Lore. So now you have here this option. If you don't want it, set it to false. We want the item as cache. We have cache. Make sure that you have cache in this part of the items lore. You can just copy out this and right here cache. The label you can do what you want, let it money or what you want, and save. So now we have set up everything from the docs. Now we can save this to be sure. Also here. So we go on the live console, we clear it. It's mostly better, so we can check if we have do everything correctly. This is debug mode, so we don't have set up the webhook, but we don't get any errors here. This looks very good. So, and here you go to notice that we are on the last version from the inventory. Perfect. Now let's do the same at the QB core. Here we get the same. Okay. Yeah, I have forgot something, so let me explain. If you use QB core and you have QS weapon, you have to delete that because the QS weapons, QB weapons is the same or it's a weapons system for QB core, but the inventory have already built in their own weapon system, so you can't use both at the same time. So now everything is start up correctly, and the both should be work. We can make sure. Let me switch so you can see. First we connect on the ESX server. Here we create a new account. We select mail, just the standard. Yep. Now if everything correctly and we can open the inventory. Yes, everything is good. Here we have our settings. If you don't want this part of the inventory and wanted this, I will explain when we check the config at after the test. So let's do the same on the QB server. Create also here an account. I was from Germany, we want to make. Do the same here, we just select both this way and create a character. We see at the QB core we got also our starter items. This is we handle at the most from your multi-char. Yeah, I don't want to change this, just for test. We want interact with house, we want... Oh. Ah, this was... Leave the apartment, please. Oh, we also do here everything correct, and we can open also. So we get the money as item. This is good. And yeah, now we have to do everything correctly. This was to be house. That we can check it other day. So now we will do the explain the config file and what you can change here and what you don't change. So here you can select your language. If you your language was not here, you can just go in this localis, select one that you want. We recommend to use the EN language and translate it with ChatGPT by yourself, for example. So this is for the auto detection with framework you use. This is when you have an order version from the inventory and you want to upgrade, you can set it once to truth, and after that you have to return it to false. Then you get all immigrations from the old inventory. This part is for the target. If you select your true, you're gonna forward to false. You have to use QB or OX target, but I recommend also when you're on QB, use OX target. It's more stable than QB target. Now we go to the throw key. If you want to throw the items that you can press when, for example, you have a weapon in your hand and you press E at this part of config, you throw your weapon. Useful when you want rush away from the police, for example. Here you can change the key, but make sure you have changed it before you first time join the server. So I joined the server. Now I have to change it in the Fivem in-game key settings, because this only works for new players or players they don't have connected at the moment at the server. Here you can decide if the police can see the 6th slot or not. Here you config the police job. Here you can decide that you lock the 6th slot, hide the item names for the ID. So when you give another player an item, you only see your ID or see the character name. Here you can select if you want to open the progress bar. So when you open the inventory, it takes a moment and you get a progress bar. The sound, here you can disable the throw. Here you can disable this trade. What you can do with the inventory, it's already for both inventories, and it was for QB and ESX the same. Here you can change the config if you want that your players can change the label, the hand ups function. Also, this is very important. When you turn it off, the robbery function don't work. When you want it, then make sure that you don't have an emote script, for example, that use hands up on QB core. It's QB small resources that already use the hand ups function. You have to delete that and use the hand ups function from the inventory. Here you can config if you want to steal dead players, yes or true or false. Steal without weapons, true or false. So then you have to use target when you want to steal the weapons. Here you can config the inventory wide. As default you have 120 kilos and 41 slots. The same for the drop wide, when you drop something on the ground. Here you can have something to customize. This both items cannot be changed as a label. Here you can select if you want to use items from the hotbar. Here you can select items that don't will be used from the hotbar. This config is for the backpacks. So at the moment you all can have one backpack in the inventory. You can use more than one. If you want other items that you only can use one or two times at the same time in the inventory, you can change it. We could be changed to two. Now we can have two backpacks in our inventory. Just to no, it was 21. I want to change it back to 1. So here you can config which items cannot be stolen. So when you use the inventory robbery function, very helpful when you use, for example, custom weapons. When you have a VIP shop, for example, this part here you can add new items. Let's say, for example, we don't want that our phone can be stolen, so you can add here phones and set it also so true, and don't miss here the comma, not the dot, the comma. So now our phone can be stolen. Here the same way for the backpacks. Here you can config the armor with a new function. Here you can config if you want use the clothing as item function, and no, you can't use every drawable for one item. So you get one item for every body types. For example, for every shoes, you get all arms, jeans. For example, you get for everything one item, or not for one item, but one item name. So this is for Illenium. Here you can put it back in the inventory when you charge your items. The gingers. Here you can open the if you want an inventory aim or scene. Here you can change the logo. I recommend to use this uploader. This will be worked 100%, and it's for free. Here you can change some tools or options. If you want that your players can be config the inventory, you can select this to false, or here you can check if you have what you have in the inventory at the bottom. So here you have mini icons. You can add here more. Here you can add new types of royalties like boss or something. This is the pet defaults. So when you drag and clothing into the inventory and you have add-on clothings, you have to select everything here. So otherwise the character will draw something, wear something different. So here we have the compact inventory to true. If you want it at like the normal one at this part and at on this part here, you can select it to false. And here we have the keybind settings. This was default. Also here you can put this when you change it and you have connected once to the server, you have to do the changes in the in-game key settings. Also this only works for new. For me it was different because I connected for another server. Then here we have the debug. If you get the different debug messages like here and you don't want it, it's for just for testing or find some issues, you just go in the config and set this to. Then you don't get any debug configs. This I recommend when you put the inventory on the live server, that you have the config debug as false. Yeah, now it was 42 minutes, and we installed the inventory and set up it for both servers. For the next videos I already explain it for the E6. At the most it was the same on if you want it installed on the E6 or on the QB. Only the inventory was a little bit different. This is because why I explained for both frameworks. And yeah, if you like the video or you have some questions, you can write a comment below the video. And if you want to join the Quasar University to learn how you build scripts or something, feel free to join. I will put all links in the description. And then I wish you a nice evening. Bye bye.